What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends X-Men series Beast. Here we do have Beast in the packaging. Really been looking forward to a good Beast figure. Really glad Hasbro didn't make one. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get them opened up, and we'll have a better look at Beast. And so here we have Beast posing out of the packaging. Before we have a look at the figure, let's take a look at his Build-A-Figure accessory. He does come with the head of the Caliban Build-A-Figure, which we'll have a look at when he's all put together. As far as Beast goes, he does come with 4 accessories. He comes with 4 different hands, 2 for each side. He has a right gripping hand, which he has on him outside of the packaging. And then he also does have a right fist hand, which looks really good. He also does have a left grip hand, which it looks like it's sculpted for holding books. And then we have a flat palm left hand, which looks really good, and you can actually get him balancing on that hand. But other than that, Beast doesn't come with anything, unfortunately. I would have liked to see Beast come with an alternate head, but as it stands, I still like the way this figure came out. So with his accessories out of the way, let's actually move on to his details. And so here we have a closer look at Beast, and I really do like the way they did Beast's head. Although it's not the Beast head that I would have liked to see, I'm still actually happy with the way this head came out. It almost looks like it's from the cover of the first X-Men book where they introduced this version of Beast, so I'm pretty okay with it. I would have liked to see an alternate head where he's calm and collected and, smart Beast. That would have been probably the best way to go about him, giving him 2 heads, one angry, one really calm. But as it stands, I still like the way this head came out. So looking at his eyes, they did go back to the pearlescent white eyes, the silver eyes. I think I'm more of a fan of the white eyes more than the pearl eyes look. I do like the fact that his hair is painted black. Well, it's not really black, it's like a really dark blue, and it has some lighter blue wash on it, so it looks really detailed, really depth, so I do like that. And they did the same thing for his chops here, which looks really good. Now, something I will point out is that this figure is loaded with sculpted detail. There's not one piece on this figure that doesn't scream unique to Beast. Everything you see on Beast here is sculpted. The fur is nicely sculpted. It's complete sculpt. There's no smooth lines except for his trunks, and it just looks really good. I really like the way they did the shading. I know some people are a little iffy about the shading, but in the comics, this is how the shading looks when it shows he has thicker fur. It's darker. When it's thinner fur, it's lighter. So for comic book accuracy, I'm going to say that this is really accurate. You can see he does have some darker hair right here on his forearms, going all the way down to his knuckles right here, which let the camera focus. So really, really loving that little detail. Although I would have liked to see this piece of black, or not black, but dark blue go a little further down his back, and then make it a little more uniform right here on the torso. You can see right here, it is a little bit unsymmetrical, and it looks like a glob of paint just landed right there. He is, of course, wearing his X-Men belt and the really dark blue trunks, which looks really good on Beast. And then continuing on, all this is sculpted once again, so there's not a piece of this figure that is not sculpted, which I really do like that. And again, we have the darker paint right here on his calves, which look really good. I don't even think I show off the detailing in his hands. I think this is the one place where this figure lacks detail, is his hands. I would have really liked to see them paint Beast's nails here the same color that's his dark fur right here, because that's pretty much how it is in the comics. I don't know why they opted to have just blue fingernails. It just doesn't look right in my opinion. Personally, I might go in there and fix his claws, but I don't know. It might not be that big of a detail that I'm going to lose sleep over it. Same thing with his feet. You can see they did paint some of the fur on his foot, but his claws, again, go unpainted. And it's the same for both sides. I really, really would have liked to see painted toes or painted claws, but as it stands, I'm still really excited that we finally have a Hasbro Beast, and he's a really nice looking figure too, and he scales well with other figures. So while I'm on the subject, let's actually get him compared to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Beast posed next to a DC Multiverse Superman and a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Here we have Beast posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. So as you can see, Beast here actually does scale really well to your Marvel Legend collection and most other toy lines, so I really do like that. Now, let's move on to Beast's articulation, which, correct me if I'm wrong, he actually has the most articulation out of any Hasbro Marvel Legend figure. I believe that statement is true. I could be wrong, but he has a bunch of articulation. So let's actually go through it really fast. He does have a ball joint in the head, which does let him look up and down slightly. Does turn left and right. However, it is at a slight angle, so you do get it going off at a slight angle. He does have a hinge in the neck, which lets him bury his head into his chin. A hinge that goes back, but if you move his head too far back, you do pop it off that ball joint, which it's not a big deal. You can slide it back on. So that's about as far as he can look without popping that joint off. He does have a hinge in the arm, which goes out to about that far. Does a full 360. No issues there. He does have a swivel at the bicep. Double jointed at the elbow, which is pretty impressive for a big character. He has a hinge and swivel at the wrist. No issues there. We do have a really good butterfly joint, so we do get some forward movement and some backward movement, so we get some really good range there. He does have a ball joint in the torso, which goes back about that far. Doesn't go that far forward, but we do have some side to side pivot. Let's see if I can get to go to that side. Not as much, but yeah, we do get side to side pivot as well as rotation. Then we have a reverse ab crunch right here, which using that he can lean back about that far. He does lean forward that much just on that reverse ball joint, so you can see he gets a really good ab crunch. And I just popped his head off again. Unfortunately, because he does have the reverse ab crunch, he does not have a waist swivel, so most of your swiveling is going to be done up here. He does have a drop down in the hips though, which is something we've never seen on a Marvel Legends figure, but it's not that drastic. That's how low they are. That's about as high as they go. Once again, that's how low they go, and that's how high they go up. So don't know why they implemented the drop down hinge. It really doesn't add anything, honestly. His leg does kick forward that far, kicks back quite a ways, goes almost all the way out horizontal, so he's more articulated than most Spider-Man figures. He does have a swivel up here in the thigh, double bend in the knee, no issues there. We do have a hinge in the foot, which goes forward all the way, goes back all the way. We have a forward-facing pin for rocker ankle, so we get some really good side-to-side pivot there. And then we get a toe hinge, something I really wasn't expecting, but they actually did give Beast quite a bit of articulation, and you can get him in a lot of great poses that Beast is known for, especially handstands, which is really surprising. So a really great amount of articulation here on Beast. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have Beast pose for my final thoughts. And you know what's one pose that is really difficult for figures to do? A 3-point stance where they have 3 points on the ground. And Beast here has his knee, his hand, and his foot on the ground. So he has an almost perfect 3-point stance, which I'm really happy for. Hasbro went all out with this Beast figure, and I couldn't be more happy with it. Maybe if they included an alternate smart Beast head, I probably would have enjoyed this figure more. But for what it is, it's a really outstanding figure. The articulation here on Beast is phenomenal, and it's probably one of the best that Hasbro has ever done for a Marvel Legends figure. I'm really glad I do have Beast in my collection. He brings me one step closer to completing my 90s Jim Lee X-Men, which I'm so happy about. If you are looking for Beast, the Caliban wave is starting to hit stores right now. I was fortunate enough to order mine from Big Bad Toy Store, which saved me the trouble of going out and finding these guys individually. However, if you do want Beast, he is going to run you about $19.99 with tax, so he comes out to about $21, which is pretty fair for a 6-inch figure. And with what you're getting on this guy, I say he's really worth it. He is easily one of my favorite figures to come out of Marvel Legends in a really long time. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Marvel Legend videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And as always, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. With that being said, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.